As a result of the US election, CNN have started laying off staff, and MSNBC have lost a huge chunk of their audience. CNN back in 2016 had 13.3 million viewers, but at the most recent election, just a week ago, they went from 13.3 million viewers in 2016 to just 5 million viewers.
Oh no. Anyway, last week...
Donald Trump isn't even president yet, and he has delivered us perhaps the most amazing gift, and that is the final, long overdue collapse of mainstream media. MSNBC up for sale, reportedly. CNN to have mass layoffs, hundreds of employees laid off. The Guardian leaving X because they were getting, in my opinion, fact-checked too much. And the list goes on. And this is nature healing itself. This is the world healing. And you just got to be thankful for all these liars that lied to their viewers for the past 8 years, specifically really intensely over the last month. People are tuning out. People are like, wait a minute. Why am I paying for you to lie to me? Why am I paying to have you blow smoke up my rear end? It's absolute nonsense. By the way, if you're going to pay for anything, make sure you pre-order your hilarious Trump Christmas cookbook and or the Tailgate cookbook. The Christmas cookbook has 50 recipes in it. It's in print right now and should start shipping hopefully early, mid next week probably. Everything's coming here. It's got mega infused recipes from McMega fries to the art of the tree, Christmas dip, a threat to our DeMock cookies, Tiny Tim's sticky horseshoe sandwich, cornflake was a bad dude casserole, and many more. All meme-tastic recipes. Supports the channel, and it's a great gift for you, someone you love, a triggered lib, that office gift, Christmas gift exchange that you can never think of what to get. Absolutely the perfect gift. So the link is in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out my computer sponsor, the computer I've been using for the last 4 or 5 years, Meta PCs. You save extra with promo code Cording. It's the computer I use. It's the only computer I trust to run my business. CNN set to axe top stars in layoffs that'll see hundreds fired as ratings continue to tank. This is because Donald Trump won. This is a company that already did a bunch of layoffs too. That's the hilarious part. CNN is planning to wield the axe on some of its high-paid staff after dismal election ratings that cap off a disastrous period for the cable news network. According to an explosive news report, network executives will unleash sweeping layoffs in a bid to save the network's flailing reputation. It comes after the departure of stalwarts like Chris Wallace, who's going to totally go start a podcast. Amid reports, senior stars like Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper have both been denied raises. There's no mention of who may be on the chopping block. The highest paid stars include Anderson Cooper, who rakes in $20 million a year. He's got to go. Aaron Burnett, no idea who that is. And rising resting B-face Caitlin Collins, who makes $3 million a year. I would strongly suspect Anderson Cooper would be gone. You wouldn't keep him. The guy's a joke, and he's the highest paid employee at CNN. Of course he would go. In the next few months, I'm told CNN will implement another round of layoffs that will impact hundreds of employees across the organization. Reporter Dylan Byers wrote Friday, referencing CNN's recent 100-person layoff seen over the last summer. The fresh round of firings, the insider said, will be more geared towards the production side of things. As a result, reporters and correspondents will be required to cover their slack. They said, describing how on-air workers will be asked to assume more of the responsibilities once handled by teams of producers and production assistants. Redundant assignments will be cut, and various divisions will be reduced or even eliminated. Some of the on-air talent will also likely be fired. Sources who spoke to the reporter, who worked at CNN for 3 years before founding Puck News, added that looming layoffs are part of an overarching plan, one that puts a premium on the station's digital platforms. Now, how did CNN Plus work out for them? By the way, all of these losers have been replaced by, dorks like me with a webcam and a microphone who aren't paid to lie to our viewers. Do we get it right all the time? No, I don't get it right every time. but I certainly correct myself when I'm wrong, and I never outright intend to mislead, which is what CNN and MSNBC and even Fox News does. The man behind it said it's none other than CEO Mark Thompson, the former New York Times boss, brought in to overhaul the network under its Warner Bros. Discovery parent. The old BBC boss filled the position left by then languishing leader Chris Licht this past August, and since then, ratings have fallen more than 20%. At the time, most of their other viewership, by the way, is down by 40%. MSNBC ratings tank again after election spike as viewers tire of anti-Trump rants. MSNBC viewership took a nosedive last week after Donald Trump's landslide election victory. The network's numbers were down from 6 million daily viewers on Tuesday, which, to be fair, is obviously election day, to just 596,000 on Thursday. I mean, I get more views than that. And I'm a YouTuber, an overweight bearded guy who sits in front of a webcam. Tim Pool gets 10 times that. Mark Dice does better. Benny Johnson does better. Now, Benny Johnson is more of a production than the rest of us, but I mean, Mark Dice is just a webcam guy like me. It also comes as commentators and analysts continue to discuss the result, often with rants laced with ire towards conservatives. Fox News, meanwhile, remained the top choice for viewers on the big night, after averaging 10.3 million on Tuesday and a total of 2.6 million on Thursday. So even they're down 500% from election day, but obviously people are tuned in for the election. And their viewership dwarfs MSNBC. It's 5 times bigger than MSNBC. Well, 4 times bigger. The latter was more than 10 times what MSNBC had achieved on a night where analysts like White House Communications Director Nicole Wallace continued to assert that the race was in a dead heat. That, of course, is a lie, too. You have this situation where people have consumed your hopium. People who were actually genuinely interested in Kamala Harris, which I assume is few and far between, but people who were actually genuinely interested in Kamala Harris consumed your hopium, that the race was in a dead heat, and it was so close, and it was razor thin. This was a narrative started by the left so that you wouldn't tune out from their news coverage. This race, as we now know, was never even close. Donald Trump swept all the swing states. And even that wasn't close, although Wisconsin came down to like 30,000 votes. Shout out Wisconsin. Shout out Eric Hovde asking to have things taken a look at. It's always good to audit things and make sure everything is normal. It's not normal to see 120,000 votes registered in the middle of the night. Again, in Milwaukee. I don't know what the process is in Wisconsin, but maybe if you have a big amount of mail-in ballots, you should run them early in the day so people don't say, why did that happen at 4 a.m.? I would say. On Tuesday, CNN earned 5.1 million viewers, a number that now dropped back to only 400,000 on Thursday. MSNBC stayed slightly above, but still lost to the station when it came to hallowed 25 to 34 age demographic, only earning 71,000 in that sample set Thursday compared to CNN's 91,000. I mean, the money that is flowing into these networks, right? The absolute insane amount of money that is flowing into these networks for relatively small viewership, as internet viewership goes, is mind-boggling to me. MSNBC and CNN were both down by 23 and 40% respectively year over year. MSNBC's drop-off was by far the most noticeable, with hosts like Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski continued to insist that Harris still had a path to victory Tuesday despite Trump's lead. Hopes that states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin would soon flip were replaced by denial, which gave way to repeated instances of finger pointing.
How do you interact with people who voted for this, right? If you are an LGBTQ person and someone in your family voted essentially against your rights, or you're a woman knowing that, this man was calling people the B word, J.D. Vance was literally calling Kamala Harris the trash and said, we're going to take out the trash. I know a lot of black women were incredibly triggered by that.
And actually, he wasn't calling her trash. He was calling like the Washington deep state trash. But I mean, this is, who wants to tune into this?
If you then meet somebody and you know they voted for the people who called you trash, or if you're Puerto Rican, you know someone voted that way, do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question.
By the way, yeah, that's what people, look, I remember how it felt last year in 2020 when it felt like I couldn't believe that Donald Trump wasn't going to be the president for the next 4 years. I couldn't believe it. But after that L, people like to turn the page. People like to turn the page and get on with their life. And when you turn on the network and you have these losers, both with a 9 and a 7 head, telling you to ignore your family, when that's what all you want to do is just get back to thinking about Christmas and paying your bills and all sorts of normal stuff. Who would want to tune into this?
Because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not.
Of course.
So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people.
I mean, can you imagine? You're just trying to get on with your life, realize, hey, this isn't like, I'm not happy with the result, but I want to get on with my life. You turn on the news and they're like, you can't go to Thanksgiving. You can't go to Christmas. You can't do these things. You have to be mad at your family. You have to be coping and seething and raging. That's what MSNBC is saying. So I'm not sure who on earth would want to do that. And that's why their ratings are tanking. These losers can't be fired soon enough. I will shed no tears because they hate America. They hate Americans. They are elites. They suck. And you should watch my channel instead. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.